in Europe are the runic symbols or the runes, runic writings. Now, when it comes to runes and when it comes to communication, this is my classification. We have 4 levels of writing. The first level are the signs. For example, arrow. Arrow, go left or go right. This is the first basic level. The second level is alphabet, as we have it. So this is these are the photos from our park. This is our park, beautiful park. So the second level is the alphabet, A, B, C, D. Those letters, they don't have meanings. Only when you put 5 or 10 letters together, you get the word, you're getting the meaning. That's the second level. The third level, high level, are the symbols. For example, the Maya symbols, or hieroglyphic writings, or Kabbalah. So the symbols, every symbol...
Or alchemy symbols.
There you go. Every symbol has a meaning. And when you put 2 symbols together, like Maya were doing, the symbols then communicate, making a synergy and a new meaning. And then the symbols from the first row communicate with the symbols from the second row, diagonally, another meaning, and so on. So this was the third level. And the fourth level are the energy symbols. Sometimes you can see, from a drone or from the space, you can see some symbols somewhere in the area, in the ambience, that they are energy symbols. They affect energetically the neighborhood. So the runic symbols are at the level number 3. So they are symbols. So we discovered 8 symbols on this particular block, and they've been deciphered by 2 persons. Both of them are in the US, the professors, and the translation goes like this. The gate has been closed. We are at the standstill. We will have to defend ourselves and conquer until the cosmic gate is open. So this was decipherment of those 8 symbols. Now we got another translation. It was very, very similar, just they added the element of water, the big water. So it's very possible that we are talking the flood, maybe the biblical flood from 11,700 years ago, or some, big flood waves and so on. So they are not the pyramid builders, but they are somebody who happened to be there during those big catastrophes. So many, many secrets over there. And the beauty of what we do is that we are discovering the new stuff. I mean, if you are archaeologists, if you are a student of archaeology, historians, they give you the site which everything is already known. You go to the ancient Roman, grave site or ancient Greek, whatever temple, everything is known. There's nothing to discover. But in our case, we make discovery literally every season.
Why do they call it the Younger Dryas if it was so wet? Sorry, I just had to say that. No, but it seems like you've got a lot of evidence, and the problem with it is basically that your pyramid's older than their pyramid. Is that kind of what it sounds like, right? Because like their pyramid's a newer pyramid, and so it makes them think like you invented pyramids and they're jealous. Is that kind of what's going on?
Well, I would say probably the combination of the factors. But number 1, the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is the largest on the planet. We were using the LiDAR technology. That's a new technology where you fly over the place, you have a laser type instrument, you shoot the rays, and the rays go in between the leaves and the branches, they hit the ground, and you can get the exact shape of the ground with the forms and so on. So basically you can eliminate the greenery. You can eliminate the existing buildings. So once we got the results, the height of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is 368 meters. The Great Pyramid of Egypt, 146.6, so 2.5 times higher than Egyptian pyramid. So,
and size isn't everything, but
the biggest pyramid is Bosnia.
But it makes sense also that like micro-sizing comes later, right? Like a bigger thing is older.
Yes, but it's a combination. The most precise orientation to the north. Egyptian pyramid, like Great Pyramid, has an error from perfect north to 0 degrees and 3 minutes. Bosnian pyramids, 0 degrees, 0 minutes and 12 seconds. Number 3, the best quality concrete. Number 4, the most extensive underground tunnel network. But number 5, what is the most important is the age. We've done 28 radiocarbon dating, uranium thorium analysis, and luminescence analysis. These are all available today in the scientific world. For example, we discovered fossilized leaves between 2 layers of concrete. So imagine the pyramid, that picture that you were showing, the green pyramid. And okay, here are our volunteers. You have 4 feet of soil. You see upper left is soil. You remove the soil, you find the construction. You find the concrete. So between the top layer and the layer below, we discovered fossilized leaves. Now, those leaves are organic material. How did they get there? They got there during the construction phase. We did the dating, and the age is 29,200 years plus minus 400 years. This is radiocarbon dating. Now, in order to get calibrated date, we add 14%. So you see, okay, this is the final concrete block.
Okay, look at that. That's natural, guys. That's natural.
So
how you feel now?
Yeah, rectangular block. Rectangular block, which is shaped on
All
6
natural.
sides. 6 sides, 6 times 90 degrees, and so on. So
Disneyland is natural. Someday someone's going to be at Mount Rushmore and be like, God made this, you know?
So we go back for 33,600 years. So this is the answer to your question. According to the mainstream archaeology and history, we are no older than 6,000 years when it comes to the advanced societies. And now because of Bosnia, we go back 33,000 years. And that's not really the end of the story. What I know, traveling the world, the Machu Picchu, 54,000, and so on. So we have civilization in the distant past.
So the Machu Picchu, you're saying that it's been rebuilt since a 54,000-year-old pyramid that was the original pyramid there.
You go to Machu Picchu, they tell you the stories. Oh, it was discovered 1910, when this guy from US came and, he gave his silver dollar. I mean, this is irrelevant. You look at the place, you can see 4 distinctive civilizations, 4 distinctive construction styles. And the first one was the most advanced because they were using blocks of 250 tons, the first layer. And physical chemical analysis are telling us that those blocks are not from the area, not from Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu, by the way, means old mountain. It is from Bolivia, 160 miles away. So somebody brought 250-ton block from Bolivia.
Hold on, Sam. I got to interrupt on that. I'm not sure if you're aware of Dr. Bob Greenyer's work on the geopolymer, and that most likely these blocks are all geopolymer, and that when a site like where the Machu Picchu for the blocks from Bolivia, it's that they would have ground the material down. That's why you see like these scoops, they were grinding it into powder that then they, take in bags like cement, which it's just a more advanced cement. And then they have the lime reaction, which is a chemical reaction, which then actually bonds into crystal, atomically structured, as opposed to just a sedimentary form of our weak concrete, this exponentially stronger geopolymer fix. That's why they're lasting tens
and
thousands.
That's what they have. They have geopolymer in Bosnia.
Now, the first scientist who was actually established the science of geopolymerization is Dr. Joseph Davidovich from France. And he was the first one to come forward with the idea that Egyptian pyramids were used with the geopolymer blocks. All the Egyptologists attacked him, but then when he established his Institute for Geopolymers near Paris, he experimentally proved that using the same elements like Egyptian blocks, that he got the same blocks and that he could build a small pyramid there with those blocks. He also came with the idea that some of the blocks from the pre-Inca civilizations were also due to the geopolymerization process. But then he was saying that they used chemicals to melt the natural stone to add the additives. Once it gets hard, you got very hard blocks. it was much easier to manipulate with them and then to place them one next to each other without any empty hollow space between them, and that's the reason why they look so perfectly. I'm not disregarding that. I'm just saying that the physical chemical analysis of those blocks at Machu Picchu are showing that the same type material closest is in Bolivia, and they are 250 tons. The second civilization were using blocks which were tens of tons in weight. The first one, when they were making those blocks or shaping them or making them, they are polygonal, meaning they have more than 4 sides, more than 4 corners, 6, 8, even more. The most corners are at the Cusco, in those walls over there, 26 different sides, 26 corners. Imagine, it's like a very complicated puzzle. How do you put not only first row, but third and fourth row with so many corners? How do you put it together? Today, we would be probably using 5 or 10 cranes to try to kind of, put them together. Or if they were made during the geopolymerization process, it would be much easier. You pour them and you have pieces of wood or something in between. Then you remove the wood or you remove some type of very thin material, and then you are getting such a perfect connection.
Molds, right? Exactly, and that's why they're earthquake proof. And this polygonal cement, exactly. That's why none of them are parallel or the same. Everyone is different, and exactly for that purpose.
Very important feature that you just mentioned, earthquake proof. When the Spaniards came in the 16th century, they basically demolished, they destroyed most of the pre-Incan structures, and they were building their palaces and churches and cathedrals. When there was a catastrophic earthquake in 1950s in Peru, it destroyed all the European construction, exposing pre-Inca structures over there, and they were intact. When you build structure with different size blocks, you don't have 2 blocks the same size. Sometimes very small, in between 5 or 6 much bigger ones. You are right. During the earthquake, it does not collapse, but it locked better together. So we can see all kind of miracles over there. And I was talking about the Machu Picchu, the second civilization, tens of tons. The third one, they were using uniform blocks between 500 kilos and 2 tons. That reminds me a lot to ancient Roman building. And the fourth one, after thousands of years, Incas rediscovered this lost city in Andes on the top of the mountain. And what they did, they used small rocks, making divisions, making primitive roofs. And this is where they were bringing royals.
Literally just piling stones on top of each other was the best they could do. They couldn't even cut stones, yet our modern archaeologists try to give them credit for building all of it. It's just
exactly right. And you read any reference, you will see Machu Picchu, royal retreat for ancient Incas. I mean, they came the last, and they were the most primitive. We don't see evolution. On the contrary, we see devolution. So those tens of thousands of years ago, they were the most advanced. Instead of what they teach us, that we are the most intelligent and the most beautiful, well, we are not.
How accurate is carbon dating? I've heard some studies say that they're going to be 1,000 to 2,000 years of discrepancy in between certain results.
Today you can radiocarbon date up to 54,000 years. But deeper you go, the error is bigger and bigger. The error can be 10%, even 20%. But in the case of Bosnian pyramids, if it is 30,000 years, if you are 10% off, really, 27,000 or 33,000, it does not mean a lot. It is extremely old.
I agree with that, but you're claiming they're more recent than that. For example, like there was a study done in 1971 where seals that were immediately killed at that point in time, they were like 46. They radiocarbon dated them right when they killed them, and it said they're 46,000 years old or something like that. Maybe my number's a little bit off, but it's something ridiculous like that. So
I agree. It's always important if your samples are not contaminated, how you treat them and stuff like that. But listen, this is the state of our science. Right now we have those three metals, and we use all three of them. Radiocarbon, we've done the most, but then uranium-thorium analysis, that one is much more precise. We've done analysis in the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels of the stalagmites. So you have stalactites on the ceiling.
Wow.
The water is dropping, you have stalagmites growing, and the stalagmites can be dated through the uranium-thorium analysis, which we did at the Institute for Geology of the Czech Academy of Sciences. The age was 19,000 plus minus 1,000 years. Now, it takes time for the stalagmites, for the surface to prepare, probably a few thousand years. So again, we go back more than 20,000 years. So everything we do really is taking us so deep in the past.
So
Also,
when you
just in terms of the history, like a couple of things, like one is like you look again at Visoko in Bosnia, and you cannot find a point in history before, like prehistory, where this thing isn't already there. Like they're building things or have legends of them. The Bosnian heathen kings are establishing themselves above the clouds and the top of the Visoko. It's like it's all like there's nothing before it, like, so there's that. And then in terms of radiocarbon dating, yeah, there's problems. Like it could be like, you know, radioactive volcanoes are putting off radiation, or there's different ways we can look at it than years. We could be looking at it at like the amount of radiation that's breaking down carbon. So it could be that there's certain things that happened, including atomic volcanoes like Oklo and Gabon went off, right? And that created a bunch of discrepancies in radiocarbon dating.
Well, there was another example of like an English castle that they had records of it being built in 750, and the results came back that it was 7,300 or 400 years
because
old.
the stones, the parts of it are older. Yeah, but this is all. See, the thing is, the Visoko pyramids underneath concrete. So it's not something. It's more like a time capsule. So for these pieces that have been in concrete to be dated, it's different than something that's like, oh, I grabbed these thousands of years old stones
like
and then
Sam
put them
just
together.
stated, the stalactites. That's itself, right?
That's
the
the
whole
best.
pyramid has to be dug. The tunnel has to be made before the stalactite can even start forming. And then, like he stated, with when they got the biological material from beneath the polygon or the geopolymer outer layers of the pyramid top or casing, that would have been the dates that, you know, they laid it and built it. Anything below that, obviously, you know, it was still dirt. And that it's terraforming on such large scales, right? It's these entire mountain valleys. And the picture I have up right now is of, believe, Machu Picchu. And if it's not Machu Picchu, it's one of the other close by there. The whole point being that it's just mountain valleys and valleys of these terraformed terraces, infrastructure, and like it's the same as Michael Tellinger's found South Africa, and it's actually the same as what I've actually found in Alberta, Canada, in a lot of spots. But Sam, you were talking about the different ages. So the terracing here that we see on the sides of Machu Picchu and throughout what they claim is Inca, what generation would you say this is?
And yeah, also, do you think that underneath part of the Bosnian Pyramid terrace that's been buried, or was it like that at some point?
Okay, what you are showing there, this is the photo from Urubamba Valley, on the way from Cusco to Machu Picchu. There are terraces like this. Now, lately by Incas, they were used for the agriculture, but in some cases, they were part of much larger structures. When it comes to Bosnia, in science, one thing is very important, and that's consistency. When it comes to dating, since Bosnian pyramids are covered by soil and vegetation, the first question is, what is the age of the soil? The science that investigates the soil is called pedology. So we have Institute for Pedology in Bosnia. They came, they took samples from the Sun and the Moon Pyramid. And their conclusion, the soil is between 12 and 15,000 years. So this is the coverage, meaning the constructions are much older. And then during the excavation, our Italian pair of archaeologists, they discovered on the